Hello, my name is Riva Poudel, and today I have Mike.
Hello.
Mike is going to be doing my peer review.
And thank you for having me, Rita.
Yes, thank you for doing this for me. Okay, so the title of my my video is Searching for a Middle Ground. This is a critical identity narrative, and the two identities that you're going to see in the storyboard are me being Hindu and me being liberal.
Okay.
So, what do you think about the three opening scenes?
Okay, so the first opening is, you're talking about New York City and how you were raised there. And the next one, you're talking about so the first couple of parts are you talking about where you're coming from in terms of New York City, and then you segue into Nepal and your religion, and I think that's a good segue because you talk about a temple in Virginia, so that's in the United States first, and it's relating to your faith, and at the same time it's connecting with New York, and then you follow up with Nepal. So I think segue-wise, it's good, and structure-wise, it's good.
Okay, so that's the first part. That's like the introduction to it. And I broke it up into these sorts of chunks. And throughout, you're going to see in this one, you're going to see boxes that say black screen, and it's going to be like a pause.
Okay.
Like a black screen, a pause, and then something like a new storyline, and then it goes into that.
Okay, so you are you pausing for dramatic effect, or is it like
yes.
Okay, so it's like you finish what you're saying, there's a pause and a black screen, and then you go on to something else.
Mhm.
Okay.
So throughout this, it was New York, Virginia, or like the Hindu temple, like background on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. Where does this lead to? Where does it connect off to?
Right.
Okay. And then it goes on.
First, black season, dramatic pause, flash forward, first instance with
Culture shock.
Oh, culture shock. Thank you. I thought it said cold tune souk. Sorry. Okay, yeah. All right, and these are like the stage cuts, or it's like stage. What do you call them? Yeah, scene cuts. I'll just say scene cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And okay. All right, so you don't necessarily have the you have what you're going to say, but not like what you're going. You have like the background, but not exactly what you're going to say.
Yes.
Yet, but you have like the everything else first. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Looking at this, does the format seem consistent?
It does. You go from like this Nepal, and then you go to black screen, dramatic pause, and then like a flash forward to Nepal, right? And there's no continuous flashbacks and flash forwards that might get people confused, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the black screen and the pause is very consistent. So yeah, I say yes. Yeah, it is.
Okay. And do you believe that there are too many pauses? That they can maybe be, like, there's too many breaks, or there's too many, like, dramatic effects?
How long is it supposed to be for, the video?
Well, each box that you see would be roughly, like, 5 to 15 seconds.
Oh, okay, so each box is 5 seconds, so it's like... like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. For a piece that short, you might not want that many, like pauses, like without anything in there. You might just want like like just use it for like a transitional. I know that's what you're doing anyway, but you might just want to use the black screen for like maybe like 1 to 2 seconds. Because if you're not saying anything there, then it's just going to be like an empty space.
Yeah.
With nothing going on, and you don't want too many of those if it's such a short production.
Okay. Well, I was also thinking about layering a black screen and then saying 1 or 2 sentences, like a
Right.
sentence in that time.
Yeah. In those instances, I think it would be fine. I mean, you can. I think the pauses are fine. Like the amount of them are fine. It's just some of them might. If there's too many of them,
Might be a
and
little
there's
awkward.
if there's too many of them and there's nothing going on, then it might be a little confusing for some people.
Okay, well, I have a question for you as an
Okay.
audience member. When the scene or when the film opens up, do you recognize the identities early on without me having to say it? Is it clear?
I believe so. I mean, at first, the first thing is you open up with images and recordings of you saying talking about New York, and you do talk about the liberal atmosphere of that town, that place, which is a great beginning, and then you segue into temple in Venice, Nepal. So you do introduce the so far you do introduce the two identities very well, and how they kind of conflict. The conflict is starting, but like you haven't
Developed.
you haven't developed like the rest of it yet. I mean, you have the obviously the basic idea of it down, but you don't necessarily have the conflict yet between the two. So far they're kind of like together but kind of separate, and they're not clashing yet, which I think judging by your segues are going to be evident later on.
Okay. And do you, as someone who has grown up in New England, is conservative, and a new college student, do you know a lot about Hinduism, or?
I'm going to be frank. I'm going to be quite honest. Prior to looking at this, I had absolutely no idea about Hinduism, really. I knew it was a race that people in the nation of India practiced, but I didn't know that there was such a prevalent amount of Hindu people in the United States. So while I am religious, I don't necessarily know a lot about other religions.
Okay.
So it was interesting to see it.
So this would essentially be like a clean slate, like it's like the
Right.
first
Yeah.
time that
for
you're
for
hearing
me,
it.
yeah, for me it would be a clean slate of me, because you hear about like other religions all the time,
But
you
not.
don't really hear about like what they are or what people do in them.
Okay, so would you appreciate more insight on this? Maybe going into more depth, explaining, like.
I'd appreciate, even if it's like the most basic kind of understanding of what like the religion is. I mean, I know you have that here, but for people like me who have absolutely no idea, I mean, who are religious but don't have any idea necessarily about the religion, you don't need to go into the history, obviously, because that's something you don't need to go into, but just like the basic, like maybe some principles, if you
Practices.
want to, especially if they conflict with liberalism,
Okay. What do you think would be the most interesting part of the video?
I think the most interesting part of the video would be when we finally see the conflict between the two, because religion is usually a more traditional, more I guess conservative type of view of the world, and liberalism is a more liberal focus. So I would like to see how the two conflict. In this case, it would be personally for you, how they would personally conflict. So I'd be very interested to see how it plans out.
Mm-hmm. And looking at this general overview of what my film would come out to be, is there anything that you would need more clarification on?
I mean, judging by this, I don't think there's too much. You can look at it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think there's too much that needs to be explained. I mean, sometimes there's like no description here because this is just like a baseline thing. Like you say, news article. I don't necessarily know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But I have faith that you'll probably talk about this later, and it'll be prevalent in the actual finished product. So I'm not overly too concerned about it.
Okay. I apologize because I feel like looking at this, it might be a little confusing because you don't necessarily like see the twist. It's not written out as much as it would be. Like I have very small words written down, but it's not explained.
Right.
So I'm gonna do it really, really quickly. When I talk about liberalism in Nepal, I'm going to talk about how it is the political situation recently, and then I'm going to talk about what the culture is like, and the first instance of culture shock is going to be mostly the misogyny that's in the country, and then it goes on to the racist things that go on in the country. And when I reference news articles, it's most likely it's going to be articles where people in the caste system were murdered or like killed.
Okay, so you're talking about racism in Nepal, not necessarily the United States.
Oh no, it's like in like Hinduism.
Right, because I did see racism somewhere.
No, it's like here.
Here,
yeah.
That's right. Oh, okay, so Nepal plus racism. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So
confusing.
Yeah, by this it was just a little confusing because I mean, it says like the sections headers, but I don't know what that means sometimes. So it's nice for you to clarify it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
But yeah, the twist or one of the things that would be conflicting is the fact that the entire religion is based off a racist caste system that's still in place and discriminates against a lot of people.
Right.
And so it's going to be me trying to find a balance between, do I even want to support this? Do I want to call myself Hindu if I'm also liberal and against, anything that's not human decency?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this is more of what do you think that if you could describe this video in like 3 words, what would it be?
3 words.
And like, just solely based off of what you see in front of
From
you.
what I see, I would describe it as your 3 words is very limiting.
Okay, like 5, 6, 10.
I'll say it in
multiple?
I'll say it in a brief sentence.
Okay.
I think that there's conflict. There's evident conflict here. But like between like your 2 identities and what you believe. And you say at the end, I don't know yet. I'm still searching. So you haven't found this balance yet. So there's no resolution to this. So this is just a piece where you're saying, well, these are the 2 conflicting identities, and I'm still finding out how I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it is good. If you still haven't figured it out yet, then tell what you actually know. But if in the process of making this you somehow find out a way to do it, then you might want to put it at the end. Like,
Do you think it would be incomplete?
I don't necessarily think it would be incomplete because this is what your what your thoughts are. Currently
this is like the
while
story.
you're making it. Yeah, this is the story of you currently. And since you don't necessarily understand how you're gonna coincide these two identities. I think having the conflict there, and still like saying at the end, I still don't know how I'm gonna resolve this. But like giving a kind of emotion that you're gonna try to find in balance of some way would be better than just saying I don't know.
Mhm. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for doing this for me.
Thank you so much, Riva. I was happy to give you feedback on this.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.